Welcome. This is Thursday, the 9th of December, and this is Simply the Truth, live with me, Doug Harris. Thank you for joining us. You are indeed as important as those of us here in the studio, and I hope we're going to have some interaction today. We have a subject which in the past has certainly brought a lot of questions, a lot of response. We're looking at the whole area of spiritualism today and broadening out to various other areas of the supernatural, Ouija boards, etc. That's what we'll be looking at as we go through today. And so if you want to take part, if you've got questions, if you've got comments, please make sure you contact us. The details will be coming up on your screen. You can text us on 07781 472647, or you can email us live at revelationtv.com, and those details will keep coming up from time to time. Please come through to us, share with us your thoughts, your encouragements, your questions, your doubts, whatever it may be. Well, I'm very glad to have two guests in the studio today, which is why we've changed the set. When I have one guest, we can sit at the desk. When we have two guests, we can be on the sofa and the settee, and that's great. And so I want to welcome Laura. First of all, Laura Maxwell. Laura, no stranger to Revelation TV. You've been on several times before, haven't you?
Yeah, it's good to see you again.
It's good to see you again. Love the hair. It's, you know, I'm thinking you've got the red hair, you've got the green top. If you had orange trousers, you'd be a traffic light. But there we are.
That's right.
Lovely to see you. And Adrian Maguire. Adrian, you've not been on before, have you?
No, I haven't.
In fact, you've never done anything like this before.
No, I haven't.
Great. I am so glad we've got you on. Both of you, of course, which is why you're both here. You're both former spiritualists. And we want to talk a little bit about your story, especially you, Adrian. We'll get Laura just to summarise hers again, because it's still going out on the channel from time to time, the full testimony. But we want to talk about spiritualism, its dangers, where it's coming from, where it can lead to. And as we go through, if we get questions, we get comments, we'll bring those in as we go along. So Laura, just give us as I say, your testimony is still going out on the channel from time to time. Just give us a glimpse, as it were, into your life and where you've got to today.
Really, my mother was quite heavily involved in spiritualism. She was training to become a medium. So naturally, I got into it too when I was a young teenager. And we both were involved for about 10 to 15 years and until things started to go dangerously wrong. And also we heard a lot of rumours from other friends, spiritualists and New Agers and mediums, people that we loved who were also having problems and frightening things happening to them. And that's when we both began to question it all, really.
Mm. And how long now since you left the life of spiritualism behind?
Almost 15 years ago now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now, tell me, you introduced me to Adrian. How did you get to know him? I know you met him for the first time today, but I mean, obviously, how did you get to know him before that in his story?
It was about 3 years ago, online, just chatting on Christian websites, and Adrian was on, and he was mentioning that he was a medium, so naturally, you know, I wanted to chat with him and really started to pray for him as well, obviously, and chatted and you know, shared things with him for a couple of years until a year ago when he told me that he'd come to Christ. And,
right.
Yeah.
Is there a big sort of outlet for that, for want of a better word, on the web, where a lot of witnessing goes on, especially to people who are where you were once? Is there a lot goes on out there?
Definitely there is, yeah. Different websites, and I've been amazed really, because I didn't really go into the internet much until a couple of years ago really. So, but yeah, it's people from all around the world into all different levels of New Age or Occult will chat to you and form a relationship over time, and you get to pray for folks. And yeah, I think that God is really blessing the internet and helping people in that way. It's wonderful.
Yeah, so there's a lot of rubbish out there, but there's also a lot of good things that can happen.
Definitely.
Great. Adrian, let's come to you, because I've read your story and I really want us to be able to share that with folks today. But let's start a little bit with your early life growing up. I mean, what were the influences on your life that you remember?
Well, I was originally raised as a Roman Catholic, and it was one of those cases where I was taken to church every Sunday, and it was one of those things I had to do. So that's where I was. So I've had a foundation of God in my life, but it wasn't part of my life. So, I mean, I knew about him, but that was it. So that's my basis.
So you had this input, and obviously it was put into you that this was the right way and everything else was wrong. But you still got involved in the Ouija board. I think that was back one of your first ventures into the supernatural realm. But how did that happen?
That was actually started off from a kid's game. It was an Ouija board game, and myself and two of my older sisters, who were only a couple of years older than me at the time, in our cellar, were playing with an Ouija board, and doing the classic "is anyone there?" and we moved the glass around, and it moved to yes, and we all took our hands off and laughed, and the glass kind of shot off the table and hit the floor, and that was kind of scary.
Spooky.
Yeah, very.
And this was bought as a game at that point, was it?
To the best of my memory, yes. I was 9 years old at the time, so yeah.
And so one would say, bought as a game, it's harmless. But I guess when that happened to you, and when you saw that happen to the glass, you must have begun to get a little bit of question and fear maybe as to what was going on.
Well, the interesting thing is, I mean, when that happened, we had a lot of poltergeist activity in our house afterwards. We had furniture being moved. We could hear people going up and downstairs when there was nobody there. But what that done for me, even though I didn't go near an Ouija board again, it sparked an interest in the paranormal, in ghosts and things like that. So I was then picking up books in the library to read and find out about it, and that's how I slowly got sucked in.
Okay.
That way.
So maybe from feeling scared the first time the glass went off, you doesn't sound to me like you were too scared about furniture moving around the room and footsteps. I'm not sure I could have been as as casual as that, but it gave you a desire to look into it rather than an aversion against it.
It did. Like I said, I didn't go near an Ouija board again. I had a negative impression about that after that experience. But like I said, it was going into the libraries. It did spark my interest in wanting to know more about ghosts and things like that. So that's...
And you didn't